Welcome to the February edition of the Missouri School Boards Association's Board Report. In his 2026 State of the State to the Missouri General Assembly, Governor Kehoe proposed phasing out and eliminating Missouri's individual income tax. Separate from this income tax push, there is also Senate Bill 3, which requires many counties to place a question on the April 2026 municipal ballot asking whether to implement a property tax cap by county for taxing jurisdictions. For school districts, property taxes are a major piece of local funding. MSBA Senior Director of Advocacy Caitlin Whaley and MSBA Senior Director of School Finance Linda Quinley hosted a webinar recently to discuss the issues surrounding Senate Bill 3.
The idea is to offer homeowners relief from property tax bills on their primary residence. So each county would be asked to vote on if they want to implement this cap. So it isn't just a cap that's implemented by the legislature, it's a county vote. And so that brings us to when is it going to be voted on, which is in April in theory. And I will get to
I guess we'll talk more about that.
I will get to the in theory part in a second, but in theory it has to be voted on in the April election, which is this coming April of 2026, and then an implementation date in the fall of 2026.
So basically, the question is going to be, shall we allow this property tax credit, which means you'll get the full normal bill, and then you'll get a credit against that bill that will reduce the amount of money that goes to school, reduce the amount of money you pay. So it will serve as a credit versus an overall reduction of the rate that people pay.
Linda Quinley says that the proposed changes to property taxes would have long-term financial implications.
So we have to always remind our taxpayers and our property owners in our community how important that local revenue is to us. So think about trying to keep up with Senate Bill 727 and the new minimum wage bill on compensation to keep up with the rising cost of doing business with less new revenue each year. And that's really kind of my mantra on all of these tax capping bills. And then long term, it's going to really make it difficult to keep that fund balance where it needs to be without you every year having to pinch pennies and make some changes. So potentially this has really long-term future implications that'll be hard on us.
Setting aside the financial implications, the administrative side of this and asking districts to manage their day-to-day, their year-to-year financial health is going to be that much more challenging because it's going to be less money and it's going to be more unpredictable.
Absolutely.
And that's on top of all the other layers of, financial unpredictability, I think, that we're seeing districts forced to navigate at present.
Yeah, we're in the most unpredictable, unreliable revenue time that we've ever been in, with mandated rising costs.
For more information about Senate Bill 3, the financial implications of it, and how school districts can communicate these complicated concepts with their communities, visit the MSBA website and watch Caitlin and Linda's full webinar, Senate Bill 3 and Beyond. Along with the webinar, you can also download ballot initiative guidelines and the property tax handouts from the webinar. As the legislative session progresses, we will keep you updated on all of the developments that matter to you again this year through our Legislative Voice newsletter sent to members via email each Friday during the session, through critical issue alerts and MSBA's Spring Advocacy Series. The Spring Advocacy Series helps you connect the classroom to the Capitol and make an impact in shaping education policy. Log on to Advocacy Lunch and Learns for the latest updates in the legislative session and plan to attend MSBA's Advocacy Day and Student Showcase with your school board to meet your legislators at the Capitol on March 10th. For more information about all of these events, visit the MSBA website. A new episode of MSBA's podcast, Always Bored, Never Boring, is out now as well. MSBA President Shelley Mantell joined Caitlin Whaley and MSBA Executive Director Melissa Randall for a candid discussion on the realities of local school board service.
You have to understand, in the big scheme of things, that the responsibility is great. I mean, there are 7 of us and your administrative team that are setting the future for literally 900,000 students in the state of Missouri. Think about that for a minute. Think about the responsibility that a bunch of volunteers have taken on in order to move our communities forward.
The most important school safety gathering ever held in Missouri is coming soon. Join us April 22nd through the 24th for the Missouri School Safety Conference in St. Louis. This statewide conference is hosted by MSBA Center for Education Safety. This event is built specifically for those at the forefront of school safety. Priority pricing has been extended for the entire registration period, so don't miss out on this important event. And finally, MSBA is also pleased to sponsor School Board Recognition Month in March. It's a great opportunity for school districts and communities to recognize the outstanding work of school board members and the important role local boards of education play as leaders of our public schools. Visit the MSBA website for ideas to celebrate and materials created to help recognize the vital role these public officials play in the education of Missouri's children. That's it for this month's edition of the MSBA Board Report. Thanks for allowing us to have some time at your board meeting, and we'll see you in March for the next MSBA Board Report.